Hey there guys, this is Real Guardian. Thanks again for 1,000 subs. This is what itachi was in danmachi part 2. If you guys want me to do a full-on hair remove instead of the 5, please tell me. Also, this is your last chance to vote on his beast because there's one I really liked from last video and one I'm 50-50ing on. So if you guys want input in this, please vote down below. Also, before I get going, do you guys think I should get a PayPal so you guys can help out the channel? That's the last thing I was going to ask. Okay, now let's actually just get this started. Now, this is why Itachi was in danmachi part 2. Itachi awoken from his slumber, feeling a change in him. Thinking about it, he realized the beast would soon awake. That's good, he thought. Getting up to make breakfast. After they all eat, Itachi's saying the whole Loki familiar is coming, so try to be nice, you two. Both Hestia and Bella just grind their teeth, saying fine. Before they ask, how did he know that? They heard a knock on the door. Hestia went to the door and opened it, saying, "Hey, Itachi, you're right. Can you two come in here?" They both get up and go to the door, with a blind man nearing the entrance, saying, "Well, it seems we were expected." Itachi walked up in his normal clothes, causing all the girls to blush a bit and thinking he's that hot even in normal clothes. Itachi saying simple. Anyone can sense this many people from a mile away, if people use my magic correctly. Saying this caused the blond man to say, "Oh, you have your own kind of magic. By the way, my name is—" Before he could continue, Itachi saying yes, and you're fit. Then he proceeded to list every member in the Loki family, not only by name, but could point them all out in the massive crowd behind the blond man, shocking everyone there. Both Bella and Hestia looked at him like he was some sort of god, which sadly he normally got confused for very often. Itachi simply saying, if you want to survive in this world anywhere, you must have intellect and intelligence. Plus, any info can lead either to your victory or death, depending on its truthfulness or usage. It is something I was taught as a shinobi. Then getting out of his stupor saying, so you were taught the way of the ninja then? Itachi nodded. Then saying, well, we're here to apologize for what happened last night, especially this guy. As he drags the wolf to the front, he gets on his knees and apologizes to him, and especially to Hestia. With Hestia saying you're forgiven, but if you insult my familia again, I will let Itachi loose. Do I make myself clear? This caused everyone to nod. Even though most of them did not see what happened, they heard what happened through rumors, and it was not pretty. Especially when the captain admitted later that night he could end all of them, and even theorized he could end their familia and pretty much every other familia except for Freya, was his own thoughts on the matter. Soon after that, a young blonde-haired girl started walking up while others were trying to stop her but couldn't. She then spoke very loudly, saying, I want to fight you right now. Itachi looked at her and saw so much of Sasuke in her it made him laugh, which caused the girls to blush, and even the blonde-haired girl. Well, she tilted her head in confusion at Itachi's laugh. Itachi said, first your name. The girl responded with its eyes. Then Itachi walked up and flicked her forehead, saying, sorry, but I will tell you why I left tomorrow. I have to train my new member today in drills. Then we can fight on that day. Is that alright? I blushed and said alright with a smile. That broke the whole Loki familia. They had never seen I smile that generally before. Itachi disappeared and reappeared in his gear and a sword on his back. Remembering its name, looking at the pitch black sword. So this is the crow's endless eternal nightmare. Tachi thought. Honestly, I just call it the crow blade nowadays. It seems it would gain unique ability once the beast within me awakens, though, from what home aroma left me. Finally, Itachi saying, Bella, come, I'm going to teach you how to use a sword more, so no magic in the dungeon, till I say so. As he tosses her a simple steel blade he bought the other day, with Bella saying, may I ask why? Itachi looked at her and saying, simple. You know you're a mage, it's best to learn how to defend yourself in case you need to. Plus, most magic takes a chant, even with congruent chanting. Though I know you have instant spells, it's best to learn when to use your magic and when to reserve your magic. Trust me. It'll help you live a little longer, little one. As he ruffles her hair, they both start walking off, with Riveria saying, well, he gave great advice to her. It's clear even as young of a man he is. He has seen many battles. That's kind of disheartening, though. But I really need to talk to him about his magic he used at the bar. I could tell he didn't use mine, but something else. Finn interjected, saying, so, by what he said, that was his people's magic, correct? Riveria just nodded her head. Finn saying, so, did we tell him where we lived? Scratching his head, thinking about it, then saying, he probably knows. I'll tell the guards tomorrow to look out for him. Finn sighs, with Hestia speaking up, saying, you know, you're lucky. I know much about Itachi's past, the scars he has, what they caused him. It is clear that he has gone through a lot more than you all have combined, in my opinion. Plus, what he has done in order to become the man he is today was not easy. And if I told him to end the Loki family, as a shinobi, you're trained to carry out an order without hesitation until it's complete. Never forget that. And please tell Loki that I'm putting you all on probation. So best to stay on my good side for right now. As she glared at them, the Loki familia was shaking, causing them all to learn why Loki told them that night. By saying, this is bad. I may mess with Hestia, but there's a rule in heaven. A rule you never break. And it is you never, and I mean never, piss her off. Because that basically be the end of the world in heavens. That's why we tease her a bit, but if we see her truly angry, we grovel and apologize. Even Freya would do it. So when going to apologize, please for all that is holy, don't piss her off. With that, enjoy your day trip tomorrow, guys. Sorry about that. There's a bunch of cars driving by. Seeing the face she made just before she walked back into home, they all knew that moment not to piss this goddess off ever. They all start going home, just realizing what they've done. While this was happening, a certain silver-haired goddess was watching all that from her tower, and reveled in the pleasure that the moment Itachi's soul spiked. It was this pitch-black red. Then it turned into a golden purplish hue. When he flicked the sword prince's forehead, it seems his soul changes with complete ease. It made Freya desire his soul. It was a mood soul, something she had never seen before. But right now it's not best to mess with him. It seems he's devoted to Hestia and the other member. They're also too attached to him as well. Maybe I will change my plans for once. She sighed, saying, oh, Tar, may I ask you for something? He responds with anything, my lady. She gives him a response as well. With I need to change my plans. Can you see if you can get Itachi to meet with me, please? Tar nodded and left. Now, Itachi has been teaching Bella on the basics of sword technique for the past few hours, from floor 1 all the way to 5, since he's not trying to push it too far. She's learning at an incredibly fast rate. In his world, she'd be considered a top-level genius at the rate she's going. Bella, finally tired, dropped to the floor, with Itachi handing her a water container, and she drank it down slowly, saying, so, how am I doing? With Itachi saying, very good, you almost have all the basics down pat, but don't let it go to your head. Bella nodded, saying, thanks, Itachi. I'm starting to see why this is so important for me to learn. But I will say, I need to train on my stamina. I hope to get better. Itachi nodded, saying, that's good, you can see that yourself. You should train on your stamina since it's self-improvement for you as well. It will always be hard, though. As he sighs. And that's it for today. So let's head back to the guild and give a progress report to Ina. Bella pouted, saying why. Tachi saying simple, to give her peace of mind after all, to make sure she knows that we are safe and still kicking in this world of ours. Bella nodded, thinking, thank you, goddess, it's not because he likes her. Tachi gets her attention, saying, are you coming? With Bella nodding her head again. Getting to the guild, and all the girls are eyeing Itachi as usual, but try to make it seem they are not, but not successfully since it's so obvious. And once they see Bella, their rage is so apparent that there's no way anyone can't tell. Bella doesn't mind it though. She's humming a happy tune while waiting in line to get up to the decks, and Ia's smiling face becomes even more captivating when she sees Itachi. Even though Bella was there, they walk up and Itachi's saying, "Here's their progress report." After they explained what they had done for the day, Ia said, "That's good to hear that you're training Bella in other aspects that's going to be needed for a future development." She smiles, thinking, "I'm going to get Itachi alone in a room right now, my little rival." Coughed, then recomposed herself, saying, "Itachi, I'd like to discuss something in private, if that's okay, Bella." "That's okay." Sorry, read the line too fast. Bella, clearly seeing what was going on, was about to stop it when Itachi saying, "That's alright. I need to talk to you about something too." With that, they leave with a very upset Bella behind. Entering the consultation room, Itachi sat down with Ina, saying, "Well, what I wanted to say was, I think I know of a good magic teacher for Bella. That would be my mom's friend, Mrs. Riveria of the Loki family. Be a good thing for her." Itachi saying, "I know. I was going to ask her when I visited the Loki mansion tomorrow." Ina saying, "Oh, you're planning to go. I could give you a letter of recommendation if you need it." Itachi saying, "No. They are expecting me, since I promised to have a spar with the Sword Princess tomorrow. So I'm okay with that. Now, what I wanted to ask was, is there anywhere we can get cheap armor and backup weapons for Bella in particular?" Thought about it and saying, "In a few days, I can take some time off and help with that if it's just me and you." And Tachi saying, "That is acceptable." After this, they leave the consultation room. Itachi was about to tell her something else when Bella came running up at full speed, grabbing Itachi's arm, saying, "Someone very famous wants to meet you," as she pointed to a large boar man. Itachi saying, "All right." He walked up saying, "Why does the king of Ororio want to talk to me?" Warren turned around and looked at him, saying, "My goddess would like to meet with you." Tachi looked at the man, saying, "Sure, sometime tomorrow evening if that's alright." The boar man nodded. "Then you'll meet her here," handing him a piece of paper. Tachi nods, looks it over, and tears it up and burns it, making the boar in particular have a very shocked face. With Tachi just simply walking by him, saying, "I memorized it, so no need to keep it." As Itachi walked out, Bella falling close behind, thinking he was so cool that he just burned the king right then and there. Well, being in the cloud nine with her much more pervy thoughts. With Otar smiling, thinking, "I actually like this person a lot." Itachi got home about it, and Hestia burst through the small church doors before they could open, saying, "Are you both okay?" Itachi and Belle looked confused, with Hestia saying, I heard that Otar wanted to talk to you." Itachi saying, "Okay, sorry, cat just jumped on me. I heard that Otar wanted to talk to you." Itachi's saying, "Okay, let me read this one more time if my cat doesn't want to stop punching my stomach. I heard that Otar wanted to talk to you, Itachi, so I was really worried about that." Itachi saying, "It's alright. It seems Freya wants to meet with me." Hestia got really worried, look on her face, but Itachi walks up and taps her forehead, saying, "It's alright. I'm immune to charm thanks to my power." Hestia looks at Itachi confused. They were saying, "Oh yeah, I remember about that now." "Okay, good to know. But don't let her ever take you away from me." And Tachi saying, "Don't worry. I would end the Freya family before I let that happen, my guys." He smiled at her and made Hestia really happy, knowing that Itachi would do something that grand for her. So she responds with an okay. "Then I hope also Freya knows what she's messing with," she says while being completely smirkishly. Sorry. "So how was today, though?" she asked. They explained what they had done in the dungeon and showed her the money that they got. She was pretty happy about it. The following day, Itachi was walking towards the Loki familiar home, which was the Twilight Manor. Bella was going to study on what Itachi left her, which was about sword techniques, and she was going to guild her party. They're taking a day off, since that didn't happen yesterday because of reasons. As Itachi walked up to the gate to see two guards, they say, "Halt there." Itachi said, "Hello there, I was to be expected." The guard said, "No, you're not. Now go." Tachi just looks at him using the Sharingan on him, saying, "What's the truth?" They'll say, "We don't want you to steal the Sword Princess's heart away. After all, even though we have no choice in hell with her, we don't want any more rivals and competition. It's getting ridiculous." Tachi then said, "You will not remember any of this," as he disappears into Finn's office. And there's Loki, Riveria, Tioni, Eyes, Garth, and Leafa. Leafia, sorry, and Finn. He appeared behind Finn, saying, "I would not recommend that. It makes no sense. After all, if you're fighting alone, it's best to take better precautions than this." After saying that, everyone turned around and panicked to see Itachi standing there with a calming smile, which made all the girls blush. Itachi saying, "I'm here to spar with men's eyes." And saying, "Okay, that's great, but how did you get in here?" Itachi saying, "Well, the guard did not let me in, so I did it myself. Also, pro tip, those traps and magic circles are way too weak. If you want me to, next time I'm around, I could upgrade them." Finn nods, saying, "I would love that, especially if someone can get in so easily. If that's okay with her area." She was still blushing heavily, but nodded. Finn, thinking about it, then finally putting his thoughts together, saying to himself, "How does he do this to women? I really like to know." To be honest, it's not charm. Loki made that clear to me. Itachi then spoke again. "You have a training ground out back, right?" Finn nodded, Itachi saying, "All right, I'll be there once Eyes is ready." He disappears just as he reappeared, which caused everyone thinking, "I really want to know how he does that. It'd help walking in the dungeon and everyday life to be that fast." They all get up and walk to the back, with people asking what's going on, with them saying Itachi's already here, causing all the girls just to quickly dart up and start walking with him. As the rest of the members start to fan out, see Itachi sitting in the middle meditating, with his eyes closed. Eyes walked up to the field, Itachi making a simple gesture with his hands, as Eyes understood. She dashed forward, bringing her sword down, but Itachi caught with his bare hand, saying, "Good strike. But it will take more than that to bring an opponent like me to defeat." He then turned the blade around to his hand with ease, stood up, and looked at it, saying, "This is a good sword," tossing it back to her. He then drawed his blade, saying, "Ready?" Eyes nodded, and Itachi nodded in confirmation as well. Their blades clashed, but what shocked him, Itachi's sword didn't move in it. She simply said, "You need more power than that to move me." Eyes, taking the challenge, used her magic saying Ariel as it coated the blade and went. Itachi then smiled, at which caused the others to be confused, even Eyes, with him saying Chidori. After saying this, his sword was coated in lightning. He then flicked his sword, sending a lightning bolt to the ground. Raising it up, and with the other hand told her to come. She took with eagerness. The second the blades clashed, a storm brewed between them. And after that, they got serious. They dashed in and out of people's sight. If you're not at least level 5, you cannot even see them at all. Each strike that clashed, it seemed Tachi was getting stronger and stronger, faster and faster. After a bit, Ice was just on the ground with a sword piercing into the field, breathing so heavily it started to freak people out. But Itachi was just calm looking. That this didn't even face him at all, saying, "Is that all you got?" She shook her head no, then dashed forward, but Tachi just simply disarmed her with complete ease, catching her sword, placing them in a cross motion right next to her neck, saying, "Good. Let's go why you failed so easily, okay?" Eyes just nodded, but to the rest of the Loki family, they were in shock at this point. Eyes lost so easily to the point that Finn said what's truly scary about him, he didn't even use his real strength, as his thumb was throbbing. Seeing that, Loki's eyes went wide, saying, "You're not kidding. How strong is he, you think?" Finn turned and saying, "I think he's at least a high-end level 7 in strength and power. I remember that fight I saw years ago with Eyes and Otar when Otar was weaker. It's clear he's that strong at least." This caused Loki to get pissed a bit and saying, "How did short stuff get him?" Tachi turned to Loki saying, "So do you want me to end your children's lives?" Loki felt the killing intent pouring over him, with her saying, "Sorry, I didn't mean to insult her." The Tachi nut, turning his head back to Ainz and going back to what seemed to possibly be a discussion. This taught everyone in the Loki family not to mess with Itachi. He was way too strong. But Loki and the rest of the girls could not die. It was really sexy he would do something like that for his family and Hestia. Put simply, their motherly instincts, as someone would say, were in full gear. and said, "Okay, may I ask what eyes can approve on?" Itachi raised a hand to his face and said, "Nothing that involves combat, sadly," as I was explaining to her. But first, what I said yesterday. I was saying, "Yeah, you tell me why you laugh." Itachi nodded, saying, "It's because it has to do with something. Why you've not." Sorry. Itachi nodded, saying, "It has to do why you've not grown at all in the past year, I'm assuming. Would you like me to tell you?" Eyes nodded as Itachi poked her head, saying, "You're just like my little brother. He always asked me to train him, to teach him, to spar with him so he gets stronger. This made me good in many aspects, but also you inherit his greatest weakness as well. That I sadly instilled in him." Eyes and the rest of the Loki family looked at him strangely and wanted to really know what he was about to say. Eyes asked, "What weakness then?" Tachi then tapped her heart, saying, "Hatred. As long as you have this intense hatred, you will never be strong, for this will lead to your end." And I sadly gave him that hatred. For sadly, that is how my people gain power. Einz asked, "What kind of power?" Tachi said, "There's a very unique power only my people in particular can awaken. It is something that's gained through intense emotional loss and pain. One of them is said you must either see your best friend or family die before you, by either someone else's hand or your very own. But one day, a member of my people found a way to awaken it with intense love. But sadly, by then, my people were set on the path of hatred. When it consumed us, it brought us to our end. That is your lesson. And if you completely understand it, it will help you get stronger." He ruffled his hair, which caused her to blush, then saying, "I'm not your sibling." She pouted pretty heavily, because she realized she hated being treated like that, especially if Itachi was the one doing it. This all broke the Loki family in different ways. After hearing Itachi's explanation, it was obvious he's lived a very hard life, especially after hearing what his people did. This was a story of pure hatred. It caused a lot of the members to see him more of a tragic figure. But once they saw how he got the sword princess in such an emotional state, they all just broke, thinking, "How the hell can he do this?" With Loki thinking, "No one takes away my eyes, no one takes away my eyes, no one takes away my eyes." And she's just shaking with rage. Finn rebooted, saying, "Thank you so much for that, Tachi." With him nodding, sheathing his sword, walking over, saying, "Mr. Rivera, may I ask you a question?" Rivera blushed and saying, "Yes, you can." She did it with a squeaky voice and very hesitant. That shocked her and everyone around her. Tachi said, "Well, I need some help teaching my familiar member the magic better, since can use it, but my knowledge on said subject is more basic right now, as I've never gone too far advanced with it just yet because of other training reasons. I would like to offer to show how my people's magic works in exchange, though, since you actually have the potential to use it." With that, Rivera thought about it and saying, "I can do that." But she started to shine really brightly by asking, "I can use your people's magic?" Hachi nodded, saying, "Yes, but it seems not many can use it, sadly." Freya was oddly prideful of him saying that. It was a deal, she told him. Then saying, "So, Itachi, do you have all day or do you need to go right now?" Itachi looked up, seeing it was still early morning, saying, "I could stay until late evening." After that, a very annoying battlefield to go to. Finn looked at him intrigued and saying, "All right, I'd love to learn some of those techniques of yours and wisdom you can bring. But may I ask what kind of battlefield?" Tachi just simply saying Freya, which caused everyone to mouths to drop. They knew why he was heading to a very difficult battlefield. Tachi saying, "Thankfully I cannot be charmed, but still having to deal with that woman is going to be a headache. Take a trillion Lokis before one of her right now." Loki said, "Hey, that's really mean." Tachi saying, "No, that's actually a compliment. After all, I've lived the life of a ninja, so I'm used to treachery, lies, and deception. And I take a trillion beautiful goddesses that represented that, and cause one hell of a headache to the world before I deal with her right now." This caused Loki to blush hard. She's thinking, "Shit, he might be that one guy exception rule to me." Been saying that does explain your attitude a lot. You don't need emotions that could cloud you on that kind of work, to be honest. Tachi nodded, saying, I could teach you combat, but my magic will have to be done on a more focused day. Though, with that, Fed nodded, saying they would love that. They all learned from Itachi that day. They were very open-minded since he was so strong and willing to teach them. He said he only truly trained in hand-to-hand combat sword, but they took the knowledge, given his wisdom as well. Seeing he was a master at both, though many wished the two Amazon twins would stop flirting with him so much. Now it was time for Itachi to leave, saying, when both me and my familiar member have a free day, we'll be back, if that's alright. Finn nodded, and Itachi left. But after that, Finn ordered two men to be brought to him, then said, so you two were the guards that were in front of the gate when he came here. They were shaking and shitting bricks, Finn said, with a very happy evil smile, saying, why was he turned away to the point he breached our defenses easily? I hope you have a very, very good reason for this. After that, there were two less Loki familiar members. The familiar blessing on their back was stripped and they got thrown out. After seeing that, Finn told everyone standing before him this. Itachi is considered our most valuable ally. Not just to Loki familiar, but to all of us. For one simple reason. I want him to go into the dungeon with us. To be honest, you all saw today, and many of you can agree we need that strength. They all nod, Finn saying good. Now, please, for the love of Loki, if you're going to have that nosebleed slash girl screaming party all night, do it outside. Please, I don't need a repeat of what happened last time, especially with the cleanup. He glanced at the top executive girls that all turned away and blushed. Tachi, now arriving back home, taking a quick shower and putting on very comfortable clothes for him. Both Hestia and Bella staring daggers at him, saying, do you really have to go see that woman? After all, you just spent time with the Loki family and their women, with clear venom in their voices. Tachi just booped them on the heads, saying, it's okay. After all, I can't be charmed, and you know that, Hestia. For you, Bella, I'm going to teach you my magic starting tomorrow, okay? With that, Hestia pouted heavily. I gave up, saying Itachi is Itachi. And Bella was just too excited to learn that she could use his kind of magic. Itachi then smiled, saying, I'm going to probably seduce a goddess by accident, like I somehow do with every woman I come across, as he sighs thinking about it. Leaving. Both Hestia and Bella were white as sheets after that. Once he was gone for a short bit, they both agreed with him. He was probably right on that approach. Approaching the fancy-looking restaurant and sighing to himself, really, I get why she likes this stuff, but where's the family atmosphere, Tachi thought. He walked in to see a man at the booth saying, sorry, the whole restaurant has been reserved privately this evening. Tachi simply said, then you might want to look at this, handing him a piece of paper he got this morning from Otar on the way to the dungeon. The man's eyes went wide, saying, I am so sorry, Mr. Tachi. I was told to immediately let you in once you arrived. He was led to a balcony area, and he sat down, went into a meditative state while sitting, since he knew she still had not arrived yet. The man was sweating bullets. There had been so many rumors around this man, and many consider him a friend of Loki Familia today because they heard he walked into their manor. And now he was meeting with Lady Freya. This is too much for him. Seriously, who the hell gains the ire or attention of two of the strongest familiars in the city? But all his worries melted away a few minutes later when she arrived. The man was trying to hide his blush and even trying to still stand once he had led her to the table. She gracefully sat down without missing a beat and turned, looking at the man before her, and said, why, hello there, Itachi Uchiha. Nice to meet you. I am Lady Freya, as most would call me, but I prefer if you called me Freya. Tachi opened his dark, obsidian eyes, which captivated Freya for their beauty. He then said, why, hello, Freya. But first, I might add I need to get rid of some elements as I want this chat to be completely private. Just then, all the upper members of the Freya family, such as Otar, Alan, Hogan, Hedon, and the five Gulliver brothers all had Itachi clones at their back with swords at their necks. They're staring in clear view of both of them, with Itachi saying, Freya, may I ask you to tell them to wait outside the restaurant? As you can see, I am enough protection for this private little chat. This shocked Freya. It just showed how strong Itachi truly was. She was very pleased seeing this side. Made her want to know more about Itachi and what he wished to speak about. So she simply told them, You heard him. Please wait outside. I'll be out soon. When we are done talking, they all nodded their heads as they got out. They only shared one thought. They could never be Itachi as they are now, and seemed to light a fire in them. That would greatly please their goddess. Very just staring at Itachi for a bit, for saying, You're wearing very comfortable clothing for a fancy place like this. Itachi saying, Why, yes, I am. After all, I believe it's better to be comfortable than uncomfortable, frankly. Though he decided to say, But also, you look absolutely ravishing today, Freya, as he looked at her in this sleek, white, golden patterned dress, causing Freya to blush very heavily, as he gave her a very slight smile that made her even more happy to see. As the waiter appeared, handing a menu, and Tachi ordered sake, and Freya ordered wine, with her saying, I know you're a man of the East, so would you say sake is a preferred drink? Tachi saying, Yes, it is. Though I must say wine does suit you, especially with your current looks, Freya. She blushed a bit, and I just wonder why he was so calm in her presence. With her responding, Well, yes, I love to drink it. Itachi saying, That's quite good to know. After this, they both ordered food and had a conversation through most of the dinner. Getting near to the end, Freya finally had to ask it. You know, I've never met someone that didn't crumble before me with such ease. Itachi simply placing his sake down, saying, It's quite simple. I was taught not to show my emotions, to never let someone control me, to always read people like a book, and to move in any situation, regardless of my condition. So, to put it simply, thanks to that training, I don't crumble before you so easily, Freya. Freya giggles, saying, So if you're trained like that, what is my luxurious and exclusive block? Tachi taking a deep breath, saying, You are possessive. You like getting what you want. You'll gain anything that interests you, regardless of what gets in the way. But this is just a very delicate mask you hide behind. Because what you truly want is Odar, the one person that will love you for you. And you will find them again no matter what you have to do. And to be honest, I don't mind this. It is best to be true to who you are, no matter what others think. And if you truly need a person like that, I hope I can at least be a friend to you in that regard. If that truly helps you out, Miss Freya. Tachi smiled, then saying, But I digress. I must really get back to my family home. Have a lovely night, Freya. Tachi stood up, walked forward, gave her a kiss on the forehead, and tapped it, finishing by saying, Never forget, there are people that do treasure you. After all, what your family does that no matter what others say. Because you cannot charm them at all. After all, you sealed that power away. It's just many misunderstand this because they don't grasp that concept. Tachi walked away with Freya just stunned. He figured her out like it was nothing. But the desire that she wanted him, she had to have him, was just no longer toxic or consuming. It was warm and kind feeling. And what Itachi said at the end truly stole away Freya's heart. She didn't care if she had to share him, but she was going to make sure she was in Itachi's life as a lover, no matter what. After that, it was a very hazy night for Freya. She didn't even remember getting back to her room in the tower, because all her thoughts were on Itachi at this moment. Itachi had returned to see Hestia and Bella sleeping on the couch, with Itachi realizing it seemed they waited for him to get back, since they were so worried about him. He smiled at that and thought that was very nice to feel so loved in this familia. He picked them both up and laying them in their bed. But as he was going to sleep on the couch, he felt this massive pain in his stomach as it spread throughout his whole body. He collapsed to awaken in his mindscape, peering into the abyss to see Cliffhanger no Jutsu. Yeah, that's the end of the script. I'm sorry for the coughing and occasional stuttering and stopping. I have a bit of a day. Plus, given my cat wanted to get my attention, that didn't help. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you'll enjoy part 2. This is The Real Guardian signing off. Just don't forget about what I said earlier. If you want to hear them, please put that down below. What should Itachi's Beast be? And if I should get PayPal. See ya.